updated. Okay, so any new software to be developed, for those a new system to be developed, for those type, the documentation is not available. So there are 6 data and information gathering techniques. The first one is the review of documentation, which is normally done for the existing system or existing software, which will be upgraded or updated. The second way of collecting the data is the observations. It's normally done whenever you want to study any person. Normally we observe that person, the activities, the way of talking, the way of approaching the problem, the way of dealing with it, seniors, juniors, friends. So that is what observation is also one of way to collect the data. The third one is the questionnaires. Questionnaires is the most commonly form of data collection. You go and ask the question to the respective clients or the customers, then take the feedback and write in the pen and paper. Later on, you can summarize that. So questionnaire is normally done by asking the salesperson or the sales boy to move door to door and ask the questions, then collect the answers. Then the next one is the interview. Interview is also by asking the clients to come to the developer side and to ask the questions by a team of experts regarding their requirements, why they interested for that system or software, why that software is essential for them, what is the expectation of the customer from the system. So everything you can ask in by arranging an interview. Then next is joint application design session. The joint application design session is normally done by online, like creating a Google form and asking the clients or the customer, no need to move to the developer side. They will be anywhere. They will just log in and they will fill the Google form. You will get the data, different data about your course. And the last one is the research. Research is normally carried out in order to find and collect the existing data. And any research in the world, they deal with finding, collecting, and using the existing data in order to develop a new application or a new product or a new service. So any new product or new service or new application is purely derived from the existing data or existing system or existing information or from existing software. So these are the different ways to collect the data. And nowadays also you can use no need to do the physical interview. You can do the online interview also. That is also possible nowadays. Then why, as I told, the existing system will be upgraded or modified to adopt the new changes in the market, the new changes in the technology, or the changes in the customer's requirement. So that is what you have to change or modify the existing system. Next, whenever you want to create a new one, if there is nothing, no such existing software or no existing system, you have to initially do that. Like the state government initially introduced the 5T. So that was not there earlier in the Odisha government. So that is why it is required to create. See, these are the 4 reasons normally used to create a new or modify an information system. Now, the first reason is to correct problem in existing system. If existing system has some problems, then it has to be addressed. The problem has to be solved, and that can be possible only by modifying the existing system or by creating a new system. The second reason is to improve the existing system performance. It's normally happening whenever the system performance is not up to the level of satisfaction. You have to change the system. You have to upgrade the system. You have to modify the system. Or in place of the old system, you need a new system. Suppose you have a printer, the cartridge is finished. So you have to buy a new cartridge and you have to insert. That is what existing printer, you upgrade that. But let's say your printer is already 10 years and it's not working, some parts are not working, not found in the market. In that case, you have to replace that old printer with a new printer. So to improve the existing system's performance, you have to either modify that, upgrade that, or you have to replace that. Next, the third is in outside group may mandate the change. Suppose there is a demand from outside the system to change the system. Like I think you have seen in the recent scenario in Sri Lanka, the public people, they come to the road. So the government forced to take the decision. So if there is in such regime that outside of the group they forced to change, then the system has to be changed. And the last one is very, very essential. That is, competition can lead to change. And we are following in our day-to-day life. Competition is the basic root of any change in positive way. You see, whenever, if I'm not wrong, if some of you are still staying in hostel or already stayed in hostel, so you are staying in a room for 3 to 4 roommates. Suppose 3 roommates will study, then you may not be interested, but you will study because of the induced effect, because you cannot sleep. You can sleep for 10 days or 15 days, then sometimes you think, my friends are reading, so let me read. This is what competition can lead to change. And it's always because, let's say the X company is providing some quick decision or response, and Y is not providing. So Y will try to improve the existing system or try to develop a new system, altogether a new system, so that the performance can be easily achieved. Okay, so these are the 4 reasons why you want to create or modify the information system. Then, what is a request for system services? The request could be a formal request for new system or modified information system. As I told, if there is no such system, you develop from the grassroots and provide the solution to a client or the customer. Or if you have an existing system, then you try to modify it. Now, let us start with all the 5 phases used to develop the new system or upgrade the existing system using the SDLC approach. Now, the first phase I told is the planning phase. The planning phase begins when the steering committee receives project requests. The steering committee consists of a number of managers who will take the decision for the industry or the organization. So the steering committee is decision-making body for the company. Those are the managers in the team. They will play different roles, like review and approve the project request, prioritize the project request, allocate the resource, form project development team for each approved project. So whenever any new system or existing system is to be developed or created, it starts with the planning phase. The planning phase, a number of managers will be there in the steering committee. The steering committee will take the decisions by reviewing and approving the project request, if the project is feasible or not, if the project is fruitful or not, if the project is financial benefits or not. So all things will be discussed. Then the approval will be done. If the project is approved, then the prioritized project request. If it's not approved, then it will be discarded, rejected. If the project is approved, then the prioritization will be done. Let's say TCS has 7 projects. So they can't go all 7 projects at the same time and they will deliver at the same time. No. Some of the projects they will do on priority basis because of the demand, because of the customer's need, and some can be delayed. Once the project request is prioritized, then the allocation of the resources will be done. Allocation of resources like hardware resources, software resources, okay, manpowers, okay, then the networks, the memory space, everything will be allocated. After allocation of the resources, it is the steering committee responsible to form development team consisting of normally 4 to 6 number of employees, and they will be assigned a specific part of the project for development. A specific part of the project. They will look after the things. So the analysis phase will conduct preliminary investigation called the feasibility study, as we have discussed, like technical feasibility, financial feasibility, operational feasibility, the schedule feasibility, and to some extent they may perform the environmental feasibility. Then after the feasibility is carried out, they will go for the detailed analysis of the customer's requirement. Now, what is preliminary inquiries? The preliminary inquiry or investigation determine the exact nature of the problem. What is the exact nature of the problem the system is going to solve? Or what is the exact part of the system to be improved, to be enhanced? And whether it is worth pursuing or not. That is what I told. As the manager of any organization or the industry, your basic responsibility is to carry out the feasibility study first. Before taking any step for developing a new system or updating the existing system, you first take the preliminary feasibility study, that what is the exact nature of the problem or the improvement to be done, and whether it's worth pursuing or not, whether it will give you certain benefits in terms of time, in terms of money, in terms of manpower, in terms of accuracy, in terms of efficiency. So whether it's worth pursuing or not. So the findings are presented is in feasibility study, and once this is done, the feasibility study is done, then the detailed analysis is done. Now, once feasibility is over, the detailed analysis will start with study. If it's an existing system, you study how the current system is working. If there is an existing system, suppose you want to develop a software for DDC for admission, and you know already there is an admission software. So you have to first study how the existing admission software is working, what are the drawbacks or lacuna or demerits with the existing software. You try to eliminate those by upgrading it. If it's a new system to be developed, you first try to understand how the traditional organization is traditionally working. I mean, without system, how it is working. then in which part they are lacking by time, by cost, or by performance. You just address those problem domain. After that, the second step carried out is the determine users' wants, needs, and requirements. So here you have to analyze why the customer wants that, what is the customer's want or needs and requirements, what the customer expects from the system to do for them, what the customer expects from the system's point of view. Then after getting all those things, you may recommend a solution. You may propose a solution. And that proposed solution is called as logical design. It's called as logical design. And the logical design will go in the next class. That's called fact-finding techniques are used. And we'll discuss in detail all the fact-finding techniques. Next, what is system proposal? System proposal is assess feasibility of each alternative solution, then recommends the most feasible solution for the project, presented to the steering committee, which will decide how the system will be developed. Once the feasibility study is carried out and the solution is proposed, this will be presented before the steering committee, because the steering committee who will take all the decision. So the steering committee will decide how the system will be developed. Then what could be the possible solution? The possible solution is, if you want to upgrade the system, buy the available softwares from the market. If the ready-made softwares are not there in the market, then you develop your own software. Or third way, you can outsource. You can ask the third party to provide you the services. These are the three possible solutions normally adopted whenever a new system is to be developed. It is because of the system is to be developed or upgraded. Either you use the existing the available softwares in the market that you purchase them and use for yourself, or you ask any software developer to develop the software that is a custom software, because it is for you people only. Package softwares are the softwares which are open to anybody. You say operating system, package software. You say MS Office, package software. Antivirus, package software. Okay, it's not specific to the person. But custom software is the software which is developed for a specific customer's problem. Let's say you develop the admission software for DDC. Then it will be used only DDC, not it will be used by Ramadevy or Revensa like that. Or the third way we can do is, we can outsource. Okay, we can outsource the software services. Those will be provided by the third party. Okay, next comes the design phase. Is it okay the analysis phase, or if anybody has any doubt? The analysis phase. Yes, the analysis phase. Is it okay? Anyone can respond. The analysis phase, is it okay or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then coming to the next phase, yes, we have 5 phases. The next phase is the design phase. As I told, once you initially decided as the manager, okay, we'll go with the system development. We will upgrade the existing system. So next step is the design phase. Now, in the design phase, you have to acquire the hardware and software, develop all details of new or modified information system. If it's a new system to develop, you have to develop all the components. You have to partly or semi-part you want to modify, those parts you have to develop them. So what is the need to acquire new hardware and software? Because it is the hardware which will process the data. It is the processor which will process the data. It is the memory which stores the data or information. And the processor will work or will do processing using the software. Every device we use in the computer, we have a specific software for each device. You say keyboard, it has its own software that is called driver software. We are saying mouse has driver software, printer has driver software, plotter has driver software. So those hardwares and softwares are very much essential for a new system or existing system. So using that, you can talk with other system analysts by how to get those hardware, software, what are the exact requirements. You can search the requirements of hardware and software, what is the exact size of memory you need. Okay, whether it's 10 GB, 12 GB, 5 GB, how many input devices you need, how many output devices you need. You can ask the system analyst, or you can do the online search, that is a surf web surfing can be done to see what are the requirements. And normally we did that whenever we are going any new location or we want to purchase anything, we are just searching the Google, okay, and get more information for a specific product. Then the third way of getting that is a visit vendor store. Like whenever we want to purchase any mobile or laptop or computer, we normally go to Sahajnagar or Rajmahal, Bapuji Nagar to see different showrooms, okay, and we can select one of them. Then they read the print and online trade journals, newspapers and magazines. That is also one way also of getting the hardware and software requirements. So what are the technical, three basic ways to provide the technical requirements? The first is the technical requirement specification or request for quotation. I think you people know better this one because you are the management fellows. So what product you want to purchase, then you have to go for a quotation call. Then the vendor will put the cost with the price for the product you want. Then you can request for the proposal. Vendor select the products that meets your requirements and then quotes the price. Or you can go for the request for information, RFI. Less formal method that uses standard form to request information about products or services. So you can tender call, you can invite the proposal, and you can also ask for the information. So the vendor people, they will come to you, they will explain how the hardware or the technical requirements will be met in your organization. Then you can go for the proposal. Then once you go for the hardware and software requirements, as I told, the system analyst will say what are the hardware requirements, the software requirements. Then you have to test the product. Whenever you took any product from the vendor, you have to test on your side. Let's say you purchase a mobile or small laptop. You are just, the vendor will show the how it is working. Then also in your home, you come and you again start using that. So how the system analysts do the test of the products, that they can ask the vendor for reference. Like normally, whenever we purchase any new mobile, we don't get any things we want. We directly go to the shopkeeper where we purchase. We ask them to just go for a setting, do for setting for us. Or we can ask our friends who are using that mobile already. So the second is talk to current users of the product. Third is you can ask the developer, vendor side people to come for a demonstration. They will give a demonstration of the product. Then you can use the trial version of the software before using the real version. Trial version is actually the version which is very flexible. and misuse of the trial version will not lead to any type of damage or any type of mishap or malfunctioning of the software. So you can also go for the benchmark test measures. There are certain standards already available, and that will be used, okay, for testing the software product. So once it's done, then the detailed design, like preliminary analysis, detailed analysis, the preliminary design, detailed design. Detailed design specifications for components in proposed solution. As a solution is already proposed, you have already acquired the hardware and software. So you'll go for the detailed design. That is, the detailed design includes the database design, the input-output design, and the program design. Database, as I told, their data will be stored permanently with minimum cost. You can store enormous data, large volume of data permanently, and normally the database is maintained in the secondary memory. Then you go for the input-output design. The input-output interface has to be designed, where the input interface, the user will enter the data, and the output interface, the result will be shown to the customers. Yes. Then the program design, here the technical people, the software engineers, will be asked to develop a program, and those programs will be used to find the solution for the customer's problem. So you can go for a mock-up test. So you can design a simple format of input and output consisting of the actual data, and you can show this to the customer, whether the customer is happy or not. Once the customer is happy, okay, you can go ahead with the design. So for that reason, a graphical representation will be better because it avoids all types of communication delay, communication gap, or any type of text related problems. Because a graphical representation will be always provides clarity of information and the data. So that's why you can go for a prototype model. So what is a prototype? Prototype is a working model of proposed system. You can go for a prototype model, and in the prototype model, you will go for a rough model. See, working model means rough model, which is very dynamic in nature, which is very flexible to adapt any changes, and which will work similar to the proposed system. Not exactly the proposed system, similar to the proposed system. The prototype will be provided to the end customer or the end user to use the prototype. And whatever the challenge they face, whatever the errors they found, they will report to the developer team. The developer team will again modify the prototype. After modification, it will be again given to the customer or the client to use it. Then whatever the challenge or the error they are found, that will be again reported to the developer. Developer side, people will come and will rectify the prototype. Then they will be again available for use. So this process will be repeated. Till there will be no change required. There will be no change required in the existing system. So that is why the prototype, it's a beginning a prototype too early, mainly to the problems also. Because too much graphical representation sometimes creates the problem. So for that, a software package, a software tool is used, and that is called the CASE. Computer Aided Software Engineer. CASE is Computer Aided Software Engineer. Now software, this is a software tool, as I told. It's automated one. because it's already used, and it provides a platform where it is easy to develop a new software or system. So this is a software tools designed to support the activities of system development lifecycle. And CASE, the CASE tool, computer-aided software engineering tool, is very frequently used in the software domain to develop any new system using the SDLC approach. Then after planning, the testing is over, then it is the implementation phase. Now in the implementation, it is the purpose to construct or build new or modified system and then deliver it to the concerned users or respective customers. The implementation phase is actually implementing the system and delivering the system to the customer or the clients to use at their side. So it starts with converting the old system to new system or designing a new system from grassroots. Once the new system is ready, then you have to go for the training of users. How the system will be used, what are the precautions to be taken, how to handle the system. So, everything has to be taught properly. So that is training users are essentially required in the implementation phase. Even if we did in our day-to-day life, whenever we want to do any new assignment or we want to do something different, before that we train ourselves. And since you are doing some job at 1 month, at 1 year or 2 years or 6 months, we are giving training, like attending seminar, attending conferences, then doing online courses, okay, attending workshops. So it will enhance your knowledge. That is what training users is essentially required, and that has to be done in the implementation phase. Then you have to install and test the new system at the client side. And if some of your relative or some of you are working in software industry, you might have heard that some people are saying they are going on site. They are going on site to USA or to, let's say, the Australia or Germany. They are going on site. Now their role is to maintain and install the software at the client side, because the client, let's say US-based client, and the software is developed by TCS Bhubaneswar. So it is not possible that the TCS Bhubaneswar entire people will go USA and they will support the customers there. So one people from TCS Bhubaneswar who is already working in the project, have sufficient knowledge on project, will be deployed for 3 months, 6 months to go to the client side, help the clients to use the system effectively. If any errors, bugs will be appear, then it is the role of the concerned person who is on site to support all requirements, all activities to the clients during the implementation of the system, so that the install and test the new system will be done. Then the next step is develop the programs. If there is certain error comes, that person should have the capability to rectify those errors, and those errors will be rectified by developing the programs. Okay, then coming on the implementation, we are doing the testing. In any system, basically 3 testings are done. That is unit testing, system testing, and integration testing. And later, nowadays, we are adding one testing that is called the acceptance testing. See the chat box. Okay, so in any new system developed using SDLC, 3 types of testings are done. One is unit testing, second system testing, third integration testing, and fourth is done after integration testing is successful. That is called the acceptance test. The acceptance test. Now, what is unit testing? Unit testing is testing individual modules. Unit testing is testing individual modules independent of others. Let's say you develop a software for the Odisha government for different departments. So it is an education department, health department, finance department, industry department. So whenever you have a module for education department, you have a module for health department, you have a module for finance department, you have a module for industry department. Now you have 4 modules. When you test the education module independent of all 3 modules, that is called the unit test. Testing one individual module or unit or function or program independent of the others, that is called the unit testing. Then unit testing will be done individually for each module. So since you have 4 modules in education department, health department, finance department, industry department, so you have to perform 4 unit testings. Then you have to integrate, you have to merge. Let's say the software of education department and health department will be merged together. So that is called the integration testing. That is called the integration testing. Testing more than one modules with each other. So that time, see, unit testing enforces that individual unit or individual module or individual function is working perfectly. But whenever 2 modules or 2 units, they are combined together, they are merged together, they are integrated together, the integration testing is carried out to ensure that after merging, both the units working properly. If both the units are not working properly because one is affecting the others, then that is not a successful integration. So here, 2 factors will come into play. One is called the cohesion. Second is coupling. So cohesion is the interaction within the unit that will be tested in the unit testing. Integration, the interaction between 2 different modules, that's called coupling. So whenever 2 modules will be merged together, after merging, a testing will be carried out, and that is called integration testing. After all the units are integrated, I mean education department software, health department, finance department, industry department, all 4 are integrated together, then the system testing is done.
पवित्र मोहन प्लीज म्यूट करो.
Okay, yes. So it is creating problem actually. Whenever you don't want to say anything, you just mute yourself. Okay. So if all the units are merged together, like education department, health department, finance department, and industry department, now the entire system is available for the Odisha government for the 4 departments, and one testing will be required, and that is called the system testing. So verifies all the programs in application work together. That is what called the verification of all the programs or all the modules. So this is what called the system testing. Then nowadays we are having another one testing that is called the acceptance testing. You see the chart box, that is called the acceptance testing. Now, the acceptance testing is a testing, the acceptance testing is a testing used to accept the product, used to accept the system. And it is of two types. One is called alpha testing. The second is beta testing. The first is alpha testing. The second is beta testing. Now, before going, let me give you an example. Whenever we purchase, let's say, whenever the two-wheeler, let's say it is the any two-wheeler, let's say just scooty is manufactured by the manufacturer at the manufacturing side. So before that scooty is available in the market for sold, it will be tested by the manufacturer side. That is what called the alpha testing, whether the scooty is working properly or not. And it will be not done by the manufacturer, it will be done by the users, selected users in the control environment. But whenever that scooty is available in the showroom, a customer will purchase that scooty and will drive in the road. That is called the beta testing. Any error come, the customer will report to the showroom will report to the manufacturer. So this is acceptance testing, is the testing used to accept the product or not, accept the system or not. So if the system will be tested in a controlled environment under the supervision of the manufacturer or the developer, that is called the alpha testing, normally done in the manufacturing industry environment. But whenever it will be done by the end users without any controlling conditions, without any limitations, that is called the beta testing. So always before delivering a product or a system to the end customer, the alpha testing is done. And after it is used by the customer, the beta testing will be carried out by the customer itself. And in beta testing, there will be no control of the developer. Like once you purchase the scooty, the developer or the manufacturer will not come to you and say, you just drive within 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers, or you drive always, you don't drive always. It is up to you, your requirement. You may drive always, you may not drive always. You may drive with 10 speed, you can drive with 70 speed. So beta testing, there will be, in beta testing, there will be no controlling of the manufacturer or the developer. But in alpha testing, it is controlled by the developers. So the acceptance testing is currently a new term added along with three testings: unit testing, then integration testing, then system testing. Okay. So the testing is done. Now you have to go for the training. I told just before, training is essentially required. Training is essentially required whenever you want to adopt a new system or you want to change the existing system. If you have the knowledge, the Infosys has developed the banking software that is called Finacle. And when Finacle was first time used in the banking sector, it was failure. Because of lack of training, lack of adequate knowledge of the bank employees, and the fearness factor in the bank employees' mind that if the software will do everything, they may lose their job. They have not been properly trained, neither by the bank side nor by the Infosys side. So that's why the software was not got so popular. But after it has been trained to the customer, to the bank employees, how to use that software, then that the software will be used to help you, not to replace you. The Finacle is used for banking application to help you, not to replace you. Then the bank employees started to use the the software. So training is essential required. Training is essential required. We're showing the users exactly how they will use the new hardware and software system. But sometimes they are, the users are not acquainted. Then they may not be having adequate knowledge. But if you see, you will go and ask your parents, okay, about the Twitter or about the Facebook. Some of them know something, but not exactly. So sometimes they may ask you to help them to get the things done on behalf of them. So that is what, whenever they will ask to do something, you just train, you just say how to do. Then next time your parents will do without asking. So training is essentially required, and the training is done mostly physical training by demonstrating the things and allowing the users for a hands-on training session. Hands-on training session means the person or the developer teams, one person will demonstrate the use. Then you will be asked to sit in the laboratories or with your laptop to do the things. They will tell you the step, you will do the steps. And if you have a problem, you ask them, they will immediately come to you and get solved. So that will be interactive, or we are technically hands-on training. Hands-on training. Only not theory will be taught. Theory plus practical. Theory followed by practical, or theory simultaneously by practical. That is called hands-on training. And that is essential required. And nowadays in the changing environment, in the changing dimension, in the changing market competition, training is essential required. As a manager, you have to emphasize training of your subordinates. Same time, you have to go for training. You have to enhance your skill. You have to expand your reachability. You have to increase your work experience by going for the training. Then this is a phase, the additional phase which is added, normally the support phase. The support phase is going for the assistance after the system is implemented. So it provides ongoing assistance after system is implemented. So it conducts post-implementation system review. Post-implementation, I mean system once used, it will again go for a system review to find whether it is satisfying the customer's requirement or not, whether it is as per the customer's expectation or not, whether it's performing it is actually performing as per the expectation or not, whether it is capable to do the things before it is expected during the development. So everything will be carried out in the support phase, and this is very critical activity which will evaluate the efficiency of the developer teams, which will evaluate the satisfaction level of the customers, which will evaluate the system's efficiency. Then also it will try to find any errors if it is present. As I told, any error detected during the use, because a software or a system, they can't say it's a free from error always. Sometimes it's working, sometimes it may not work. It may have faced certain errors. It may face certain errors. So the errors has to be identified and they has to be eliminated. The errors has to be identified and has to be eliminated. By conducting an inquiry why the errors are happening and taking the measures how the errors will be avoided. Then it also performs the different ways to enhance where it is possible. Identify the enhancements. How can the system will be enhanced further? How can the system will be enhanced further? How can the system's performance will be increased further? And what are the possible ways to do the enhancement? So that also will be discussed in the support phase. Then the final step, it performs is monitor system performance. This is what actually done not only in SDLC but also done in everywhere. Okay, it will be done everywhere. How to get more and more performance, how to come out with more efficiency from the system. So that's why you have to monitor the system performance, you have to evaluate the system performance, you have to match the evaluated system performance with the expected system performance. If it is the actual system performance is more than the expected system performance, then it's okay, it's good. But if it's less than, then continuously the steps will be taken to improve the system performance. Okay, so this is all about the SDLC for you people that use to develop a new system or a new software. And SDLC consists of 5 patches. 5 patches, and those patches will be used sequentially. Each patch has its own assigned responsibility and works to be done. And finally, when all the 5 pages are followed, the system will be developed. Again, the support phase will go for the continuous system performance evaluation, and if possible, certain enhancement will be done. So this is all about the today class. If you have, this is all about the SDLC and the today class. If you have any doubts or if you have any queries or anything you want to say, then the class is open.
Please, sir.
Sorry.
Sir, kindly share the PPT so that.
Yeah, sure. Just I'll share. I think with that email ID I'll share some.
WhatsApp number, sir. Yeah. You
Sir,
you send in my WhatsApp. I already messaged you.
Okay. Fine.
So I got yesterday one email ID. Just hold on. Yeah.
Prasansaud.ps001.
Yeah. Prasant South just sending now within 1 minute to wait. I'm just attaching. So you please do one thing. You share with your friends. Okay, with your group.
Sure, sir. Definitely.
Yeah. Just wait 1 minute. And okay, so I'm doing. If anybody has the doubts, you can ask me. If anything, anybody else wants to say.
No, sir.
Just 1 minute. Prasant. ERA.
SA.
SANT.
SAO. 001.
01.
@gmail.
Yes. You just check it whether you got it or not.
Sir, till not I'm not received.
You just check it. It's sent now.
Just a moment, sir. I'm refreshing. Yes, sir. Received, sir. Thank you so much.
Sorry? Received.
Yes, sir. Received.
Okay. You just share with your friends.
Sure, sir. Sure. Within
If
the.
anybody- Yes. If anybody wants to say something.
No, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. So that's all about the class. We'll continue the next class then. If you don't have any doubts, the slide I have already shared, you can go through the slides. If you have any doubts, you can ask me also in the next class. Okay.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.